Hello happy souls, welcome back to my channel. This is Charlotte with Happy Twins 1111. Welcome to all of my new subscribers and big love and shout out to those of you that have been with me for so long. I appreciate you guys so much and you've been so generous to me lately. In fact, I want to take a moment just to thank the very generous souls that have been sending me decks. I've received so many the last few days. So first up, we've got the Movie Tarot. This is in pile 2 today. Again, I don't know who sent these because I did get some notes, but they were all in one pack and I don't know who they're from. So one was from Daniela, one was from Rosa, and I'm not sure about the others. So this is the Movie Tarot, the Everyday Witch Oracle, the Zillich Tarot, which we're also using today, the Tantric Dakini Oracle, which we're using today, and also this one, the Everyday Enchantment Tarot. These are fabulous decks. I'm so excited to use them. The Enchanted Tarot is in pile 1. These are absolutely beautiful. I'm fascinated by how unusual they are. So if you sent me one of these, thank you so very much. I appreciate it so much. You guys are really so generous to me. And it really is exciting to read with a new deck. It's like reading a much loved book written by a new author. I love that. Honestly, I love tarot. It's so interesting. A new deck is always the most exciting thing. So thank you so much. But today we are asking what's really going on between you and your person. This is the you and them reading where we look at both energies. We look at how each of you are presenting in the connection right now, what energy you're, presenting in. We look at how each of you are thinking and feeling about the connection. And we look at what's shifting, what you can expect next. And of course, then the guidance to help you along with that. So there's 3 piles to choose from. Now in pile number 1, that's this beautiful new one, the Everyday Enchantment Tarot, a gift from one of my very generous viewers. Ooh. And we've got Black Shimmer Moonstone with this deck. Number 2, another gift, the Movie Tarot, with this beautiful piece of serpentine. And in pile number 3, the Good Tarot with the Smoky Quartz moon. So take your time choosing, see which crystal you're drawn to, which pile, and the timestamps are always in the description box below. I like to choose from the numbers in the timestamps, but it's entirely up to you. There's no right or wrong way. But when you click on the timestamp, that will take you straight to your pile. So I will see you there. Hello pile 1, welcome to your reading. You have chosen this beautiful new deck, the Everyday Enchantment Tarot, which was a gift from one of my viewers. Thank you so much if you sent me this. And you've got the Black Moonstone there. And we are asking you and your person, what's really going on between you? Now, when I do these readings, we look at the energy of both counterparts. We look at how each of you is presenting energetically in this connection right now. We look at what each of you is thinking and feeling about one another and the connection. And we look at what's shifting for each of you. And in addition to looking at the individual energies, we will look at the energies in, the connecting energies. So I actually used 3 decks for this reading. The one that you've chosen will represent the divine feminine energies. And for the divine masculine energies, we're going to use this Chakra Wisdom Tarot. Let's just give them a quick ripple shuffle. I do always shuffle before we come on, but I know you guys like to see me do it on screen. Oh, that's from an oracle deck. What are they? Enlightenment and Discovery. We'll keep those for you. They're not meant to be in there. But they're obviously there for a reason. So that's the masculine energies. And for the connecting energies down the middle, I'm using, again, this beautiful new deck that someone sent me. Thank you so much if you sent me this. So frustrating that Amazon keep messing around with the messages. Like some of these all came in the same box. So there were notes, but I don't know who they were from because it, I didn't know which note applied to which package. But anyway, this is the Zillich Tarot. So that will be the connecting energies down the middle. Now, when I do these readings, they're not gender specific. So even though there's divine feminine and divine masculine energies, that means in your situation, it could be he, it's the divine feminine and she is the masculine, or it could be a he, or a she situation. Please adjust the gender pronouns as you see fit. I will use she when I refer to the divine feminine, and I'll use he when I refer to the divine masculine, but that just helps differentiate which counterpart I'm speaking about. Please just adjust the gender pronouns as you see fit. Okay, so let's just move them out of the way for a minute. Let's get the divine feminine energies first. How is the feminine presently showing up in this connection? What is the present energy of the divine feminine counterpart, please? Okay, we've got the 4 of Cups. I love this deck so much. It's just so relevant and fresh and so of the moment. We've got the Nine of Wands in reverse. And we've got the Five of Cups. I'm just going to move these over just so we've got plenty of room, because this is quite a big deck that we're using on the feminine side. And what are her feelings right now? Okay, that fell out really quickly. That's the King of Blades or King of Swords in reverse. The Tower in reverse. And the Hierophant in reverse. And what's shifting for this Divine Feminine? We've got the Knight of Wands. The World in reverse. And the Two of Cups in reverse. Now don't worry about reversals, it doesn't necessarily mean it's negative. I know a lot of people get twitchy about them. It's just the way I read. It's another perspective of the same storyline in that card. Okay, so it's the masculine energies from the Chakra Wisdom Tarot. How's the masculine currently presenting energetically here? We've got the Four of Cups in reverse. That was the first card out for the feminine upright. Interesting. The Nine of Wands and the Four of Pentacles in reverse. And for thoughts and feelings, we've got the Star in reverse, the Queen of Swords, and the Three of Cups in reverse. And for what's shifting for this masculine, we've got Temperance, the Nine of Swords, and the Empress in reverse. And now the connecting energies down the middle. We're going to use all the oracle cards, charms and messages as well today. There will be an extended reading as well if this resonates. Okay, so connecting energies is the Ten of Cups in reverse. Connecting thoughts and feelings is the Four of Pentacles. It's interesting that came out for the masculine as well. And what connects the energies that are shifting? The Queen of Wands. Beautiful. Okay, so let's start where we are. I'm going to get more cards out as we go. Pile one. Let's start with the Divine Feminine. It's really interesting that the Four of Cups came up for both of you in the same position, but in the case of the feminine it was upright and in the masculine reversed. Now I want to show you this card close up, because the Four of Cups represents someone that's a bit withdrawn and self-absorbed, you know, not really interacting or engaging. And you can see here that their cups are spilt, they're not paying attention, so they've got the earphones on, even though there's quite clearly a conversation that's meant to be happening here. You know, this person's switched off. Now, for those of you looking for signs, I forgot to remind you to ask for a sign, but you've got the this kind of little fairy figure here approaching with the water. You've got a squirrel and a heron in the background as well. So it feels like this Divine Feminine is somewhat detached, you know, from her social group. She's spending a lot of time on her own at the moment. But we also have the Nine of Wands in reverse here. Now again, this comes up in the same position for the masculine but upright. And so whereas the Divine Feminine, and again I'm going to show you these cards because they're so interesting. Look, battered and bruised, you know, all these people trying to reach out to them and they're kind of, you know, rejecting that energy. You know, this is someone who has given up. They're kind of resigned. And with the Five of Cups, we see someone who's mourning, someone who's grieving a loss. So it feels like there's definitely been some kind of separation here. We've got the Ten of Cups in reverse. And this Divine Feminine has all but given up. You know, this is someone who's feeling very resigned to the way things are. Someone who's feeling like they can't change things, you know. I'm really drawn to the dog energy here as well, and also the crow, or it might be a raven, but I think it's a crow energy that's showing up. And this person, you know, the Five of Cups is about grief. It's about really reflecting on the past. And, you know, this is a very depressive energy, and depression always emanates from the pain of the past, whereas anxiety is about our future concerns. You know, anxiety is all about what's going to happen. You know, depression is connected to what has happened. And so this Divine Feminine is very much taking some time out, has very much given up on this connection, and is kind of licking her wounds and, you know, really struggling to feel better about this again. The masculine, again, such similar energy, but they haven't given up. They don't know how to let go. And so what I'm hearing is there's been a lot of toxicity, a lot of upheaval, a lot of conflict in this connection, but both parties still very much care for the other. You know, it's kind of like this mind over matter situation, or mind over heart, in fact, where, you know, you just can't make the situation work. Every time you come together, it seems to be a clash. You both want different things, and yet both of you are still very much invested in the other, can't stop thinking about the other. You know, the difference here is that masculine copes with his pain differently, whereas this divine feminine becomes withdrawn. She goes within, she becomes introspective, she's trying to figure it out, she's working through her pain. You know, with the masculine, we see no such energy. He's got this Four of Pentacles in reverse. He can't let it go. He can't stop thinking about it. And he's very determined still to make it work. But unfortunately, he's not going within on an emotional level. This is someone who's much more disconnected from their feelings. But again, with 2 4s being in reverse, this really demonstrates how unbalanced this person is. They have very little security or stability in their life right now, but they passionately want to make this work. And yet I don't think they're aware of how to do that and what changes need to be made. This is someone who's not necessarily taking a great deal of responsibility for how they're showing up in the connection, and really doesn't understand why it's gone wrong. And this is why this divine feminine is so exhausted, and she's tuned out. She's not listening anymore, because it feels like going round in circles. And again, with this connecting energy being in the 10 of Cups in reverse, you know, that looks like it was a situation where unions seemed to be occurring, but, you know, this conflict, this difficulty in meeting halfway and actually resolving the issues that exist here in the connection kind of thwarted any attempts to move it forward. So, you know, we definitely have 2 very sad and confused people here that are very much missing one another, but one has all but given up, you know, and the other is very much kind of all fired up to make this happen, but has no real plan or understanding, and is very much inclined to, you know, just repeat the same cycle. One of them's learning, one of them isn't. And I think this divine feminine has recognized that, you know, I can only do so much. Me showing up in a calmer energy and trying to resolve things doesn't necessarily, you know, mean that this person can. Thoughts and feelings are very revealing, because we've got the King of Swords in reverse, and this really is a divine feminine that is just exhausted. You know, she doesn't want any more upheaval. She's tired of the lesson. She's tired of this person trying to dominate and control this connection. And it feels like she's kind of bored of the whole upheaval of it. This is definitely a period in her journey where she's very much had enough, you know, of the idea, not just that, you know, but just of the idea that she's somehow responsible for this. Now, obviously, we're only responsible for ourselves, but this divine feminine is tired of being the only one that shows up, you know, actually doing some work, actually, you know, trying to make this better. She's feeling very out there on her own, working on this, and, you know, feeling very resentful that her counterpart is really not keeping up. When the King of Swords comes up in reverse, and again, such a great deal of similarities here, because we've got the Queen of Swords upright for the masculine and that dog energy showing up again. But when the King of Swords is in reverse, you know, this is someone who also is tired of speaking their truth. They're tired of saying the same thing. We can see here that this energy is connected to truth and the energy of justice. Someone is showing an exhibit here, you know, a piece of evidence, and there's a little fly for those of you that are looking for signs. And again, this little fairy energy that's kind of, you know, prodding this person with a pin, you know, trying to get them to notice, you know, or react to this exhibit or the fly on the wall or something like that. So it feels like this divine feminine is sick of going around in circles and saying, look, this is how it is. This is the truth of the situation. This is what you're not seeing. This is what you said. And this person just kind of steamrolling over that and not actually being able to have a real conversation about it. And so when the Tower comes up in reverse, this is the energy of, oh, I just can't. I can't do that again. I can't go through that upheaval again. And so we understand here why she is so resigned. Pardon me. However, with the Hierophant in reverse, you know, for feelings, this does demonstrate also someone that has recognized, I can't teach this person. I can't heal them. I can't show them how to behave. And actually, it's not my job to educate someone in how to have, you know, an adult, mature conversation, or how to have even a mature relationship. So there's definitely this energy of resignation and frustration, quite a lot of resentment, but above all else, it just feels like exhaustion. For the masculine, you know, their feelings, they're quite cold with the Queen of Swords. You know, it definitely feels like you two are at loggerheads, and, you know, the energy is stagnated so much and becomes so challenging that neither one of you is approaching this situation with any warmth. Your person, however, has taken on board the comments you made about them being flighty, unpredictable, irresponsible, and so forth. And it does look like, you know, with this Four of Cups here, they're at least trying to withdraw from that kind of party lifestyle in which they just kind of distracted themselves and coped in, I want to say, really unhealthy ways. You know, they're not feeling very optimistic, even though they're feeling determined. When the Star comes up in reverse, this is someone that's genuinely worried. You know, this is someone that's thinking, oh God, you know, I want this to work out, but have I really blown it this time? So the masculine's definitely, you know, on the edge with this and recognizing that maybe, you know, they've pushed things too far. But they're just unable to offer that olive branch. You know, I do feel them being quite stubborn and prideful as well, you know, because they genuinely don't see what the issue is here. They're not able to recognize their own weaknesses or misgivings in this situation. The connecting energy is really interesting. It's the Four of Pentacles, which showed up here in reverse in the masculine, and in this deck it's called Power, and it's to do with possessiveness, this card, the energy of clinging on. Remember we said here we can't let go, but in truth both of them are currently wrestling for a position of control. Now the Divine Feminine may not agree with that. The Divine Feminine may be over here thinking, hey, I'm just trying to do my bit. But it's really wise to recognize and to be really honest with yourself about which of your behaviors and communication, even though you may feel very indignant about things or very incredulous about others, you know, that kind of the irritation that feeds into this energy that you're genuinely feeling is born of a place of pride and, you know, wanting to maintain control and power. This is something you're not acknowledging, or the Divine Feminine isn't acknowledging about themselves. And of course that's a distorted energy and that both parties are bringing to the equation. And this kind of power struggle, you know, it's the Divine Feminine saying, you've got to tick these boxes, these are my conditions, and the masculine not understanding why that's necessary, really pushing against it. So, you know, they're both battling to get what they want rather than trying to meet in the middle and recognize that, you know, most of these issues could be resolved if you both were honest about the root cause of what actually brings them forward. In terms of what's shifting, we see the Divine Feminine really getting back on her horse, really focusing more on her own journey after this period of tiredness and coming through with this very strategic, very passionate, powerful energy to charge forward. And what's really powerful about this is we see her releasing, really letting go of the need for a union energy, which is very powerful. You know, the thing is about surrender and acceptance is that when we decide to surrender and accept, that's just the first step towards actually being in that energy. It's making the decision. And often we make that decision for ourselves out of sheer exhaustion, resignation, or whatever we've seen here. You know, it's a kind of turning point in the journey, because it's a recognition of, I have no power to fix this. I can only do my bit, and I'm tired of going around in circles here, and I'm ready to focus on myself. And that desire to create that shift is what gets that surrender energy in motion. But it takes time to really anchor ourselves in that truth. You know, as I said, the desire to be surrendered and accepted in acceptance is the first step to actually being in that energy. And this is what we see the Divine Feminine doing. And look how victorious she looks here, and how shocked these people are in the background, cheering her on. You know, I'm out of here. The fox is a symbol of strategy. We've got the butterfly transformation, of course the bird here, which is always a messenger of spirit and a symbol of a higher perspective. You know, so this is the Divine Feminine taking the high road. Like, do you know what? I've done everything I can here. I have to let this go. and I'm going to. And so her person, you know, will no longer be the focus of her world. And this is a beautiful image for the world. Look at this. Everyone knitting a blanket, which makes up the whole. For those of you looking for signs, you've got seagull, deer, butterfly, frog, and trout there. So, you know, she understands that she has to focus on her own world and to stop chasing union energies. With that Two of Cups in reverse, you know, this is a divine feminine that's recognized, I can't keep putting myself out there for this person when they're unable to meet me halfway on the bridge. Temperance, for what's shifting for the masculine, is powerful. You know, when the divine feminine steps away, he is forced to take note of his own wounding and to bring these back into balance. And we do see a period of depression, you know, kicking in here. This will primarily be connected to apathy and a lack of drive, you know, really struggling to understand what to do next and feeling very down about, stressed about the connection. When the Empress comes up in reverse, this is a very distorted and disempowered energy that may make your person, you know, feel like they can't actually fix this. And look at the energy of this Empress here. We see a divine feminine making the offer of a cup to another, and cup symbolizes love or emotion, especially the single cup. It's representation of unified love, or, you know, like the Ace of Cups, that energy of unity. So it does feel like, from being so pumped up and determined to make this happen, they actually hit a point where they realize that they have to start filling their own cup and bringing it back into balance. And what's interesting about this is the Two of Cups is in reverse for the feminine, but for the masculine in Temperance, we see those two cups being filled by the individual. So I do think this is a turning point. And look what these cards that fell out. We've got Enlightenment and Discovery. So the yellow energy, which represents the solar plexus, is connected to the trigger center. So for sure, this divine feminine stepping back is triggering a great deal of awareness, some kind of awakening here and discovery that this person's going to be able to use to help them transform. It may plunge them into a dark night of the soul, or I'm hearing push them back there. For some of you, they've already been there. But you're to recognize and accept that this is a step process that they need to go through. And what's really powerful about this is the Queen of Wands being the connecting energy for what's shifting. You know, when the Queen of Wands comes up here for what's shifting for both of you, that is a powerful spiritual shift. And it's a progression from that Knight of Wands energy, that spark of creation that drives it forward and starts to create a lot more passion and spiritual drive in both counterparts. So a really beautiful energy coming through here for what's shifting. Even though it may feel tumultuous, particularly for the masculine, overall it's for sure for the highest good. And these energies here, you know, that popped out that weren't meant to be there, I think are a very, very important suggestion of how the masculine will be forced to confront his own divinity and discover, you know, some kind of higher knowledge or higher path, which he's so far been avoiding. So let's get some more guidance cards out for you guys as well. So we've got the Hermit in reverse, the Page of Swords, and the Nine of Cups. And for the masculine, the Seven of Swords in reverse, the King of Swords, and the Five of Cups. That's so interesting because those are both energies that showed up on the feminine side. And the connecting energies here is the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Let's get some oracle cards as well. So we're going to work with the new ones first. This is the Tantric Dakini Oracle, which one very happy and kind soul sent me from viewing this channel. Thank you so much. We've got Maya, how she spins, the solar return, and Mercury. And for the masculine energy, we've got Wave of Bliss, the Joker or the Fool, and Mother's Milk. Let's get a connecting one there as well. We've got Ganesh, Lord of Obstacles. And I want to get a Moonology card for each of you as well. So for the Divine Feminine, your hard work is paying off. new moon in Capricorn, and full moon in Libra, which I think we've actually just had. A win-win outcome is forecast. Let's get one for the connecting as well. New moon in Scorpio, working through your fears. Okay, so Divine Feminine. The Hermit energy when it comes up in reverse. More dog energy for you here as well. And we've got a cat and also an owl out there through the window. But when the Hermit comes up in reverse, this is showing you that you're not fully connected to your own truth. That there's more introspection, more inner revelations to come into being. And you're guided to remain... I mean, look how excited these energies look. That this is a Page of Swords, which, you know, the page refers to the mind. There's more studying for you to do here. I'm hearing that when you're curious about what's happening and you start trying to tap into the collective understanding of what's going on here and working out how that connects dots for you, this is when you're going to regain an energy of excitement about your journey and step out of that exhaustion you've been feeling. I'm really drawn to all these daffodils here. We've got the little hedgehog and there's a little blue-tip bird over there. You know, this feels like such a joyous energy for me. It's the energy of rediscovery, of looking at your journey with fresh eyes. And of course, it's spring energy that's showing here. We've just had the beginning of spring. You know, you have turned a new page. I'm seeing this book here as well. And you need to look more closely because your progress may have felt slow, but you have made tremendous and dramatic progress. And when you look more carefully and compare notes with what you've studied and researched, you'll realise that you're actually a really evolved Divine Feminine. You're doing really amazing. You are on the cusp of emotional balance and self-fulfillment. And the Nine of Cups is all about that, being balanced with what you have. In the traditional Nine of Cups, it features an individual on their own just before the party. You know, it's just before everyone arrives and they look so happy and so abundant and so satisfied. In this deck, we see them surrounded by love, companionship, you know, this very social energy. And I think you're being guided to remember as well, not to take for granted the loving group of people you do have around you. They may not understand exactly what you're going through, but this is the energy of reminding you to count your blessings and seeing how much joy and abundance is actually in your zone of awareness. I'm really drawn to all the fruit here, which is a symbol of that harvest and, you know, abundance. But 9 is also a Hermit energy. So, you know, this beautiful progression of cards here demonstrates that when you, and look, he's reading a book here as well. He's studying. You know, he's got companionship, he's got his own intuition and that wisdom. He knows how to tap into it. And when he can revert to that sense of childlike wonder, everything comes together and you'll find that balance. So it definitely feels that this Divine Feminine is on the cusp of really kind of finding a place of perfect peace and contentment with this situation. The guidance for the masculine is very much to stop lying to himself, stop trying to control this situation, step into truth. Remember, we had the King of Swords reversed for the Divine Feminine. She's bored of saying the same thing. You know, this masculine, again, there's so many dogs showing up in this reading for you. You know, this masculine really needs to step into truth. And that's hard. We've got the 5 of Cups here. Remember that energy of grief. And the thing is about the heart is it's not just about feeling into it and bringing forward the information that's, you know, we need to access in order to deal with this situation, the energy and feelings that reside there for this situation. When the heart cracks open, it all comes spilling out. And this is why this person's been unable to do that previously. This is a blue card, even though it's the 5 of Cups, which again connects to truth. And so, you know, this person intuitively knows the truth, but for their emotional body to accept this, acknowledge it and bring it forward, they're going to have to kind of face a whole other ton of stuff which they've been avoiding for a long time as well. So this is a very turbulent process, you know, for both of them, but in particular for the masculine, he's a good few steps behind the feminine in terms of his progress. And I'm hearing that truth really niggles at his conscience. You know, he knows the truth deep down, but in order to face it, he has to face a lot of other things as well. And this is what makes it so emotionally challenging. But he's guided that if he can do that, he's going to start, you know, making much more progress and getting closer to what he wants. The connecting energy to guidance here is the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. It's called failure in this deck, but it's coming up blocked. And, you know, both of you need to release the fear of failure. In part, this is why your person always runs. They're so convinced that it will all end in tears that quite often they get beaten by that limiting belief. You know, they end up thinking, oh, well, if this is never going to work anyway, I may as well not bother. And so that impacts their ability to show up wholeheartedly. And I feel the Divine Feminine suffers from that at the moment as well. Remember, we saw this energy of being resigned and having given up. So the Seven of Pentacles is also a symbol of investment and of patience. And so it's reminding you that everything comes out in the wash. You know, the universe is always conspiring to bring things back into balance. And what you both need to do is to step into faith so that you can allow that to happen. Remember, thought plus belief equals creation. So when you're dwelling on these very negative and limiting beliefs, you're making more of what you don't want in your reality and in the connection. From the Tantric Dakini, we've got Maya, how she spins. You know, this reminds you that everything is cyclic and that you have the power to change that cycle and weave a new story at any given moment. We go back through the same stories so that you can revisit those patterns and experiences and learn more from them again. It's kind of like revision. It's like going over the work we've already done so that we can see it from a more clear and objective perspective after we've had a break from it. And this is what you're being guided to do, to really reflect on the patterns that have occurred between you. And it may help to actually create a timeline, you know, like a timeline of events so you can see. And I think you will see a pattern of the ups and downs and the pulling back and pushing forward and the arguments and so forth. And once you can identify that pattern, you are empowered to figure out new and healthier ways to move forward. We've got the progression of that here with the solar return, which is also number 24. Now, I'm really drawn to how similar this looks to that new moon in Capricorn, you know, with the kind of solar energy. It's more like an eclipse in this situation. But remember, this is a powerful sign that there is always light behind the darkness. One cannot exist without the other. When things seem terribly dark and troubled and difficult and impossible, just remember there is always, you know, this beautiful return of the light, you know, and you can trust in that. And we've got Mercury here represented with the Ouroboros snakes, a symbol of creation, but Mercury is also a symbol of communication. And this is asking you not to be too stubborn, you know, about communication. Rather than putting so many limitations on yourself, you know, leave the door of your heart and mind open to possibilities. It doesn't mean you have to take action, but if you've been blocking this person or deliberately trying to kind of shut down and close the connection off, you're being guided that that doesn't serve you. You know, you've got to leave space for communication. And again, you can see that solar flare, you know, the solar return illustrating the background here. The masculine, once he opens his heart, can expect a beautiful brand new beginning. And we've got mother's milk here and waves of bliss. Now, this reminds us that even though the waves may be turbulent and harsh, that ultimately they bring us so much peace and so much pleasure. There's something incredibly cathartic as well about that big release. You know, it's never as painful as we expect it to be, and actually once it's subsided, we're left feeling so much lighter. And mother's milk is that energy of very kind of nurturing, affectionate energy. This is beautiful. You know, they have a wonderful new beginning to look forward to if they're able to face their own truth and get into their emotions with it. The connecting energy here is Ganesh, Lord of Obstacles. You know, when we work with the energy of Ganesh, it's all about asking him to support us in dissolving the obstacles. And you can see here he's stuck in a web. You know, that's how it's represented, the energy of being stuck, but recognizing you can become unstuck. This is just a transitional period. Remember, number 5 is that midpoint as well. You know, but you're about to evolve into a much higher frequency here. This whole connection is about to shift. And look at that Divine Feminine, your hard work is paying off. I know it feels like you've been chipping away at this for ages and making no progress. But as I said, this huge leap forward, this letting go energy that you've managed to get yourself into is a powerful sign of you moving into the next stage of this journey. And the masculine just needs to be reassured that this will work. It may not feel like it now, but he can trust that it's going to work out. And with that Scorpio energy, again, similar to the Ganesh energy, and what came through here with this reverse Seven of Pentacles, you're being asked to work through your fears. And these are deep emotional fears that are, in both cases, in the case of both counterparts, connected to your past, you know, connected to the pain that already exists within each of you. Whew. Okay, so I want to get some messages and guidance from your higher selves. So we're going to pull some of these message cards. These are just blanks that I have written on myself. So we're going to get messages for the Divine Feminine from her masculine, and messages for the masculine from her feminine. Then we're going to get some charms for some more overall guidance. Okay. Divine Feminine, I am under no obligation to make sense to you. We have very different values in life and love. It feels impossible, so I don't try. This is very affirming for what's already come through, right? Don't listen to what they say about me. And what does the masculine want to say? Okay. I lied to you because it felt easier than hurting you with the truth. When you said those hurtful things, I believed you. And you're all I've ever wanted love to be. It scares me to death. One more. Your higher mission involves helping others to learn by your mistakes and pain. Powerful. So I think these have really amused me, because I think it really does perfectly sum up and define the energy of this Divine Feminine. You know, she's saying, I don't have to make sense to you. I don't owe you an explanation. I don't have to educate you in what's really happening here. If you're not prepared to see it, that is not my job. This is actually a very empowered statement. You know, it's finally letting go of any sense of obligation that she has to heal or help her counterpart. You know, she's recognizing that is not my responsibility. I can only be responsible for myself. She's recognizing how different their values in life and love are. And she's realizing that's an incompatibility, that she doesn't want to demean or undermine her own sense of values and rightness to accommodate this person. And that's another powerful step of her standing in her power. You know, and saying, no, I know what I want, I know what I deserve, and this isn't it. We see things very differently, and that's okay. And again, that energy of resignation comes through. It feels impossible, so I don't try. And Divine Feminine, you don't need to try right now. You know, the guidance for you is to continue standing in your power, continue focusing on you. Leave the door open, but there's no need for you to take action. Don't listen to what they say about me. I just want to get a card. What is this about? The Lovers. Okay. Now, wow. Another dog. We see a young couple here and an elderly couple here, and then someone kind of in the background, like a guide or something, and this fairy which is kind of blessing the connection. Now, because of the disparity in ages here, it may be that there's, you know, some parental figures or some elderly figures in either one situation that maybe have very strong opinions about this. Let me get another clarifier for there. Let's get another clarifier for this. What are they saying about this Divine Feminine? Okay, so we've got Star in reverse and Death in reverse and the Ten of Wands. Okay, that is very interesting. I want to get another one of these, the connecting energies. Queen of Cups in reverse. Okay, so it feels like your person might have some very manipulative, controlling family that keep saying, you know, you can't change the situation, it's done, there's no hope here, it's not your responsibility to fix it. And with the Queen of Cups in reverse, this refers to emotional coercion. So, you know, these people are seeing your connection as problematic, and they're not giving very supportive or helpful advice to that person. So, you know, the Divine Masculine needs to be aware that the people, you know, that may be involved in these conversations don't necessarily have his best interests at heart. They're judging from their own egos, and they're judging quite harshly. Now, the masculine is saying, I lied to you because it felt easier than hurting you with the truth. And, you know, the truth and stepping into it has been a big trigger point for this person. What have they lied about? Let's get one of their cards. What have they lied about? Ten of Cups. So family. They've lied about family. What was the truth that they felt would hurt? Strength in reverse. And the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands can often refer to the other woman as well. And the World in reverse, it wasn't over. So they may have led you to believe that the relationship they were already in, or some situation with a family unit, was already over when it was not. They made out it was weaker, or, you know, more likely to collapse or on its way out, that the separation was already in motion. I don't think it is. When you said those hurtful things, I believed you. You know, this person really did hang on your every word. And when you lashed out in anger, you know, they were really very much hurt and took those comments on board. And I feel that they were even more distorted by this person's perception of them. You know, it hurt way more than you intended. You're all I ever wanted to be, and it scares me to death. Sorry, all I ever wanted love to be. Yeah, so this to them is something that's almost otherworldly and impossible to anchor any faith in, because it just feels so good. They often just think it's impossible for something this lovely to last. And now that things have started going awry, you know, they're definitely more firmly anchored in this fear. Your higher mission involves helping others to learn by your mistakes and pain. So trust that the situation is not in vain. You know, through this inner exploration and the journey that you've been on, you're going to help so many more people. Let's get some charms for you. Okay. So we had the Sun come out. Fake news. Keep going, keep growing. Don't overthink it. The Bumblebee. Oh wow, I didn't know I had 2 fake news badges. That's interesting, isn't it? And this tiny little crystal. So a quartz piece. Quartz is it generates more energy. It kind of magnifies the energy that is there. So these are really interesting energies to come up here. I think with this bee, you're being asked to reach out into your own support network and your own community. That solar return, you know, I do feel that the truth is going to be illuminated. The light is supporting your growth right now. You do need to kind of trust that everything is as it's meant to be. You know, try not to overthink this and assume that you're being punished or it's all going to shit. You know, I do think it's going to resolve itself. But I'm particularly intrigued that you've got 2 fake news charms. I didn't even know I had 2 of these charms. I genuinely didn't. But, you know, when this comes up, it means that something you're perceiving or seeing is not correct. Either you've been fed some misinformation, or you've heard it incorrectly, or with this don't listen to what they say about me, someone is out there really stirring the pot. Now, I'm going to get 2 clarifiers to this because it has come up again. I'm going to use the Connecting Energies cards. What is this 2 storylines that are out there? So 9 of Swords in reverse and the High Priestess. Wheel of Fortune in reverse and the 3 of Pentacles. So that's connected to a work environment, or I mean, the High Priestess is a very spiritual, intuitive energy to come through. It may be a cultural difference here that's connected to your spiritual beliefs, which the family's kicking off about. But the 9 of Swords in reverse, this is called cruelty in this deck. Got the Queen of Wheel of Fortune in reverse. You know, there may have been allegations of abuse in terms of the conflict that you've experienced together. These are very muddled energies, but there are definitely too many people that have an opinion about this situation, and it's nothing to do with them. This is between you and your person, and both of you need to learn to tune out of the opinions of others. It only matters what you 2 know and feel and see and witness and experience together. You know, how other people perceive it can never be rooted in truth, because you know, they're not connected to this situation in the way that you are. They only hear it, you know, from a third party who only has half of the storyline. So you've got to allow yourself to tune out of that too, to not be so triggered or frustrated by it. Perhaps this is one of the things that's really disturbing your peace of mind right now. Remember, if you're very triggered by the idea that other people don't like you, don't agree with you, don't support your presence in the, you know, someone's life, you've got to remember that those who matter don't mind. And those who mind generally don't matter. This has nothing to do with them. You know, don't allow yourself to be in this situation with a disturbed peace of mind and feeling so angry because of the ignorance of people that don't even matter. You know, they are completely irrelevant. Their opinions irrelevant. You just need to stand in your truth. When the bumblebee comes up, it really is a symbol of community. And yet the Three of Pentacles coming up in reverse suggests there's a blockage there. So perhaps that's something for you both to review. But I really hope this helped, part one. I'm going to take this over to the extended reading now. So if you enjoyed this, we're going to go a bit deeper over there. We're going to get more messages, more cards on the questions we've already asked, and more detail, and of course more guidance. You can find the link for that in the description box below. But thank you so much for joining me here. I really do appreciate your presence on my channel and you tuning in. I love it when you hit the like button. I appreciate all of your beautiful comments and your feedback. And thank you also for subscribing. And again, a big loving thanks to everyone that sent me these beautiful decks. There's so many of them. Absolutely adore them. I'm really grateful to you guys. And also big thanks to those of you that send me very, very generous donations. I appreciate that so much. If you send me a donation by PayPal, please include your postal address so I can send you a little thank you note. Okay, so thank you so much, friends. I will see you next time. Lots of love. Bye. Hello, part two. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the movie tarot. I'm so excited to use this, and the beautiful serpentine. And we are asking today, you and them, what is really going on in this connection. In this reading, we look at how each of you is presently showing up in this connection, the energies you're bringing, and how that connects. We're looking at how each of you are thinking and feeling about one another in the connection and how that connects. And we're also looking at what's shifting for each of you, what you can expect next, and how best to navigate that. We're going to use oracle cards and charms and message cards. We're going to get all the guidance. So stay tuned. This is a nice, juicy, long reading, and there will be an extended stay if this resonates for you. So just hold the person you're inquiring about in mind. You can ask for a sign if that feels good to you. A sign can be anything at all. It can be an object, an animal, a symbol, numbers, a phrase, a name, a song, whatever works for you. You could even ask for a movie, since we're looking at the movie tarot. You know, anything that resonates or relates to you. And a sign can be anything. There's no right or wrong way to choose from, just whatever pops into your head. It's just an opportunity for spirit and the universe to give you a nudge and say, hey, we're here, we're listening, you can trust this message. And you may see that sign pop up outside of this reading as well. You know, it might not just be in the reading. You might see it on television later, or open a book and it's there in front of you, or something like that. Okay. So in this reading, I actually used 3 decks. Pile 1 will be the deck I used for the divine feminine energies. Sorry, I say pile 1. The first pile, you're obviously pile 2. For the divine masculine energies, I'm using this deck. This is the Chakra Wisdom Tarot. Just going to give it another shuffle. I do shuffle these before, but I know you guys like to see me do it on camera. Although, I don't know, I think sometimes viewers get worried that us tarot readers are really organised and prepared and, you know, I don't know, pre-prepare something, but it's really not like that. And do you know what, I've never watched a tarot reader that I've thought that's what they've done. So I don't think that's something you need to worry about anyway. For those that don't shuffle on screen, it would be far too labour intensive to go through it in that way. You're essentially doing it twice, you know. Okay, the connecting energies down the middle. This is the Zillich Tarot. I received this today. This was a gift from one of my viewers. Thank you so much if you sent me this. And when I do these readings, I will refer to the divine feminine as she and to the divine masculine as he. However, they are not gender-specific readings. In your situation, it might be he, she, The divine feminine energy could be embodied by a man in the relationship, and the feminine could be embodied by the masculine could be embodied by a woman. So there's no right or wrong way. Please adjust the gender pronouns as you see fit. I do try and use the they them pronouns as much as I can, but honestly I forget when I'm channeling, and when I'm doing this reading, when I use they them, it's sometimes difficult to work out which party I'm discussing. So I'm not trying to offend anyone, but let's get these cards out of the way and pull cards for the divine feminine energy first. So what's the current energies for this divine feminine, please? We've got the 5 of Pentacles. Oh, that one wanted to come out. The High Priestess in reverse. And the Knight of Wands. And how's this divine feminine thinking and feeling about her counterpart and the connection? We've got Death in reverse. The Hermit in reverse. And Justice. And what's shifting for this divine feminine, please? The 9 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles. And the 8 of Swords in reverse. Now, I'm not a massive movie buff, but when I turn these upright, hopefully you can identify what films they're in. If I can't, I'm pretty sure that one's Clint Eastwood. There is Justice. Okay, masculine. What's the current energies for the divine masculine? We've got the Magician. We've got Justice in reverse. That's interesting because that came up there. We've got the Page of Cups in reverse. And how's this masculine thinking and feeling about the connection? We've got 4 of Cups in reverse. The High Priestess. It's interesting. That was reversed, the feminine. And the 5 of Wands in reverse. And finally, what's shifting for this divine masculine? We've got Strength. 6 of Pentacles in reverse. And the Star in reverse. Okay. Straighten out. Let's get some cards for the connecting energies. So this is the bit in the middle that's created by the energies of each individual. The Knight of Swords for current energies. What have we got for thoughts and feelings? Hanged Man in reverse. And for what's shifting, the 8 of Wands in reverse. Okay, now don't worry about reversals. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. A lot of people panic when they see them, but they're not bad. There's no such thing as a bad tarot card. Okay. So let's start with our divine feminine. Our divine feminine is very, very triggered right now. She feels very rejected. She feels very slighted. She feels out of control in this situation. She feels that she's being too needy and must pull back. She's very much trying to protect herself and defend herself with barriers and with a very firm and well-practiced game. This is a divine feminine that's been round the block. And so, you know, she's very determined not to be caught out as she has done in the past. There is a kind of hyper vigilance here when it comes to perceiving the game. You know, it's kind of constantly reading between the lines. Is this person trying to trick me? Are they being sincere? You know, this is a sort of energy when her counterpart takes 5 hours to reply to a message, she will take 10. You know, this is someone that's very defensive, very protective of self, very determined not to get embarrassed, tangled up in the same old kind of stories that she's been through most of her life. And so we really see her in this Knight of Wands energy, you know, trying to be very casual, trying to be very playful, definitely wearing a mask and disguising the depth of her own feelings. In fact, this is a divine feminine that is very much in masculine energy. Now, hold on, I'm just moving around here to open the window. What we're really seeing, you know, is a desire to play. And she finds power and joy in that. This is a divine feminine that's addicted to the highs and lows of a runner-chaser dynamic. And she wonders why she's experienced them in so many of her previous relationships. But this is because of the pattern that she's always been through, and she's not yet mastered how to override it. So, you know, being the treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen type of person has really felt very empowering for her. Now, when the High Priestess comes up in reverse, of course, this is someone that is disconnected from their emotional and intuitive receptivity. So she's definitely not tapped into her divine feminine power. You know, she's very misguided in terms of believing that if she plays hard to get, she will get what she wants in this situation, and is not understanding the depth of that inner child rejection wound that is triggered when this person doesn't show up in a stable or committed way. So there's a lot of pride here, a lot of fiery pride, and we've got Aries energy with a distorted Piscean energy. So, you know, this is a very psychic, very powerful divine feminine, but presently not recognizing her power, and instead feeling empowered by her ego, her mind, how smart she is, how strategic she is, you know, and very reluctant to address her own emotions or to acknowledge them. The masculine is in a very similar energy, but the masculine has a different, I want to say, skill set. Both of these people come across as ancient avoidant types, you know, and so this is a connection that can be really challenging because no one wants to let their guard down. And what's really interesting about this here is, look, in the Magician, he's giving the divine feminine the wand, and in this one we see her carrying it on her back. You know, this is a magician who, you know, the Magician is also player energy, it's also trickster energy. So, you know, they're both coming at it with this I'm in control energy, but the masculine, in terms of offering that wand, is also trying to be vulnerable. You know, it does kind of look like they definitely acknowledge the game and are saying, you know, I'm not intimidated by this game you're playing. I'm going to meet you halfway. I'm going to match your investment, and I'm going to give you my wand. You know, we can both play equally. And so I think both of you actually get off a little bit on this whole runner chaser dynamic. You enjoy this push pull, and because there isn't really a chaser or a runner here, you're both in both energies and kind of pushing and pulling constantly. It kind of keeps the passion alive, it keeps it very exciting, and you almost both enjoy it. It's fun. You know, I think neither one is prepared to kind of down tools and lay the full hand of cards on the table. It feels like you both enjoy this back and forward, even though it may temporarily make you feel out of control. It's the addiction to the high and lows, which is very prevalent here. This masculine, however, is a little bit out of his depth. Even though he doesn't demonstrate it, I feel he presents as very confident, very cocky, you know, very charismatic. You know, I'm kind of, I've got this, I don't really care, you know, sort of appealing, just very, very casual about the whole thing. But I think that really belies the truth, which is they don't know how to bring this into balance. And this feminine is really giving them a major run for their money. You know, with the Page of Cups in reverse here, we're definitely seeing that this person stopped making offers and has currently, you know, transferred the power to the divine feminine. It feels like they may have become somewhat exhausted by this ongoing game, and they're not sure. You know, there's a lot of confusion here. They're not sure what the truth is or how to bring it into balance. So, you know, you definitely confuse one another. You know, both of you feel this intensity, both of you feel the magic, but neither one of you is prepared to admit it. And the connecting energy here is the Knight of Swords in reverse. No one's admitting it. No one's speaking the truth. No one's taking action to actually move this to the next level. Everyone's just kind of pretending, yeah, I'm just going with the flow. But really, both of you are on edge. You know, both of you are feeling this intensity. Divine Feminine. This is such an interesting lineup of thoughts and feelings. Now, I feel like you watch a lot of these readings, and actually you may be new to my channel. And I say this because you are very focused on the material world, the practicalities, practical relationship guidance. You probably watch a lot of those videos that are about, you know, where it's guys saying, say this, don't say that. These are the kind of text messages you wanted to send to keep your person interested. You're very much focused on trying to control the external situation and reality through your mental skill, clarity, understanding, you know. And this Clint Eastwood here being shown as justice, and he's got a gun in his hand, even though he's holding it down, you know, he's prepared for battle. You know, this is kind of that energy of, it's going to be fair this time. I'm not putting up with any more tomfoolery. But there is a resistance here to change and introspection, you know, and you need to understand that trying to control people and trying to control your external circumstances is futile. You're fighting a losing battle. The only real power you have is to control yourself and your reactions and your responses. Now, in part, you already do that in a very strategic way, you know, but what you're not doing is connecting this to your emotional and intuitive power. And that's where real transformation begins. Because, you know, when you're connected to your truth, you can actually not just see what needs to be done with absolute clarity, but you can acknowledge what's in your own heart that needs to be changed and brought back into balance. At the moment, you know, trying to be strategic and smart to, you know, try and manipulate this situation into getting what you want is disingenuous, because it doesn't really teach you what's at the root of this and how you're also contributing to this dynamic. You want your person to sweep you off your feet. Ooh, like a knight in shining armor. You know, in your mind, that's the masculine's role. But you're not recognizing that they're just as scared of letting their guard down as well. So, you know, you're very much judging them by what a pussy, they have no courage. You know, if they want it, they should come and get it. Let's see how they like it when I make them jealous. Maybe that'll get them moving. You know, there's a lot of expectation and harsh judgment here, and not recognizing, you know, that real love requires authenticity, it requires vulnerability, and that's an energy that has to go both ways, and those energies aren't present here. You're not being vulnerable either. You are both mirroring each other exactly, and this is why you have this stalemate, because no one is willing to change their perspective. Your person, you know, is struggling to go within and face this, but intuitively they are very triggered. You know, we've got the Five of Wands in reverse here. They know that this game is not bringing things into balance. They know it's not working. You know, the feminine's not figured this out yet, but she's got her gun ready, finger on the trigger. You know, constantly waiting. Well, I don't want you to snipe me. I don't want you to get the upper hand. I'm staying in control. I want to bring this into balance, but only if I can stay in control. You know, balance isn't about control. So it feels like the masculine actually is quite emotionally connected. You know, there may be a lot of water energy in your person's chart, that's Scorpio, Cancer or Pisces, or it may be in their moon a lot, or maybe their Venus. But they're having a much harder time at keeping their feelings on the lowdown and about ignoring them. I feel that this divine feminine is much more powerful when it comes to numbing herself to the emotional undercurrent of any given situation, whereas with this masculine, it kind of runs roughshod over him somewhat. But he's recognizing that this game isn't effective. He's very triggered by this because he doesn't know how to deal with it differently, and he's wondering why he still wants to deal with it at all. You know, he's very connected, very intensely connected, but also very confused. But again, we see with the Hanged Man in reverse, you know, as the connecting energies to the feelings, that neither one of these two is truly taking responsibility for seeing the other's perspective or for seeing things as they really are. They're both caught up in this game, and yet there are very deep feelings here, and also an awareness, you know, that there is something very spiritual happening. And so divine feminine, you know, you need to acknowledge that this is a divine connection and that it's a spiritual experience you're having. And when you start facing it as such, and you start applying the same study, strategy, and so forth to your spiritual evolution and development, you're going to start seeing massive transformation in this connection. But both of you has to learn how to be vulnerable. Now, the divine feminine is shifting in a very abundant way. You know, this is someone whose career or work life is about to take off, you know, and this is very, very empowering because it demonstrates the energy of stability, power, self-sufficiency, you know, independence. But it's also an ultra independence here of taking care of themselves. And there's kind of a clock ticking here. It's kind of like, you know, I'm sick of playing games. I want to get married. I want to have babies. I want to move this forward. I've got everything I want, but I haven't got the love I want. And you're not realizing how your own own limiting beliefs actually stand in the way of that, because you refuse to be vulnerable. You know, you're so determined not to be hurt again, cheated again, betrayed again, misled, led up the garden path. You don't want to waste your time, that your finger's always on the trigger. But what we see shifting here is that limiting belief. You know, we see you recognizing how all of these fears that you have about being cheated again are actually inhibiting you from getting what you want now. You've mastered the practical realms. You're already abundant and accomplished. Now is the time to start focusing on your heart and soul. You know, you've probably even been to therapy and worked a lot of stuff out in your mind, but you are very much detached still from your emotion and your intuition. You know, in terms of what's shifting for the masculine, this is really powerful. You know, we see him deciding that he does want to pursue this. He can't ignore, you know, the intensity and magic of this connection, and he's becoming wishful about it. I hope this can happen. I hope that can happen. You know, he's fantasizing about a future, and his feelings are getting really strong. However, this person isn't sure what they have to offer you. They don't know how to show up in this connection because they see that you have it all, and they're very triggered by your success and accomplishment. Now I'm hearing your immediate response to that is, well, get over it. Man up. You know, stop being such a pussy. And again, you even holding that energy and attitude is what disables this person from being able to accept it, because you are judging them. The exact energy they're fearful of, she's going to think I'm worthless and a useless pussy and can't hold my own, is exactly the energy you're judging. Yeah, you are that. Get over it. Stop being like that. You know, instead of just honouring how they are, fears and all. You know, there's lots of messages here about coming into acceptance of what unconditional love means. And usually when we're judging someone else, we're judging ourselves. You've had to become this ultra independent, strong person. And there's a certain amount of pride connected to that. And why not? There's nothing wrong in loving who you are and the strength you've demonstrated. But real strength is not in assertiveness or prickliness or defensiveness. It's not in how firmly we can protect ourselves, but in how much we can open our hearts in a vulnerable way and extend real compassion. And in doing so, we open ourselves up to be judged. And we do that because we know we have enough love in us that we can withstand the harsh judgments of others. That's being truly vulnerable and strong. You know, locking ourselves up, you know, tangling ourselves up under lock and key so no one can get near us, and having our finger on the trigger ready to shoot anyone in the face. That's not strength, that's fear. And so you're being asked to recognize how, you know, your own fears are inhibiting you and inhibiting this person from seeing where they fit in to your life. Now, the connecting energy is 8 of Wands, which when it comes up in reverse like this, really demonstrates that we're not going to see anything moving particularly quickly here. You know, both of you are processing these things at a distance in the near future is what I'm sensing for you guys. So let's see what else. What's the guidance from Spirit around these energies that are presenting? And let me just look at these cards if you can recognise what movies they are. I don't know who that is, but you might. I just don't watch enough television or movies. I think that's, oh yeah, that's Winona Ryder in Beetlejuice. She's got the recently deceased book. What's this one? I think that's Meryl Streep, but I'm not sure, and I'm not sure what film it refers to, but that might mean something important for you guys if you recognise them. Let's get some more cards here for you. I love this deck. 5 of Cups in reverse, Temperance in reverse, and I'm not sure who that is. I think it might be Morgan Freeman, I'm not sure. And the Page of Wands. And that's Men in Black, isn't it? Will Smith, Men in Black. Let's get some of these cards for you. This is the Everyday Witch Oracle. Follow your dreams. For those of you looking for signs, there's lots of cats here. More cats and dolphins, rebirth and reinvention. Let's get some for your person. King of Swords in reverse. 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Ace of Wands in reverse. meditation, peace and serenity, and fire magic. So fish and turtle energy coming through them, or cat energy as well. Turtles are here too. Let's get some moon cards. Show the world the real you. Time to give rather than take, and the connecting energy is what you need to release. So Divine Feminine, one of the emotional blockages for you is unresolved grief. And I'm hearing that at the time you needed to grieve, you didn't have that opportunity because you had to be strong. You know, your circumstances meant that you had to pull yourself together and march forward. And if you'd have indulged that pain at the time, you wouldn't have been able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and do what you needed to do. So, you know, you were strong because you needed to be. You packed it all in a suitcase, ready to deal with later. You know, but this is where the imbalance exists. And this is the bit where you need to allow yourself to be a beginner. You've got to learn to revisit this pain, and a lot of it connects back to the inner child. The relationships that you had later in life were a reflection of the wounds that you would already received and suffered with in childhood. So, you know, that you followed your dreams in a very material way because this gave you something to very, very positive to focus on and to develop your self-worth and your power, you know, and that's been really powerful for you. But now is time for your rebirth. You know, now is the time to discover all of the real joy that exists within you, that is not connected to or reliant upon what you've achieved externally in your job, in your possessions, all of those other things that can certainly please us and bring, you know, joy to our lives. But this is a period of rebirth and reinvention, of connecting with the joy of being swimming in your own depths and emotions. Look at her here in the water. Water is a symbol of the emotional body, you know, a time to give rather than take. And you've been so firm about this, you know, like the rules and the why men love bitches and all of these storylines that say you've got to wait for them to give it you all, you know, don't accept less than this, let them do all the running. But you don't recognize how you're not actually in the energy that allows for that to happen. So you've got to start giving of your emotional self. This is new moon in Virgo, but I'm seeing all of this green energy here, which is associated with the heart chakra. You know, one of you needs to let your guard down, and it's saying here, you know, this can begin with you. You've got to start giving this love to yourself and recognizing all of that wounding, you know, from your past that's still keeping you stuck in these energies of resistance, and you're unwittingly resisting exactly what you want, which is love and a fulfilling relationship. Your person, you know, very similar energies that are coming through here. The King of Swords, not understanding the truth. Another 5 in reverse, not wanting to face the truth of their own rejection wounds and why they're avoidant. And the Ace of Wands, being unable right now to align with the spiritual nature of this. There is something very triggering to them that connects with these energies. Now, maybe they grew up in a very religious background, or they've, in some way, they've perceived religion and spirituality in a very distorted way, and so they're kind of very resistant to it and not very open-minded in general. And this is where the energy of this connection triggers them. You know, even though this is King of Swords, who is the king of the mind, this is also a purple card connected to the third eye. And we see here, you know, meditation for peace and serenity, also this person being in their emotions, you know, and taking the time out to reflect on these truths. We've got fire magic as well, you know, which is again all about spiritual energy, very Ace of Wands energy. But with the Ace of Wands in reverse as well, this person's realizing this is more than a sexual connection. Previously, they interpreted all of the sexual power and chemistry and spark in this connection as just being a very physical compatibility, but they're recognizing it's much deeper than this, and that really contradicts their existing belief system, which generates so much confusion. Again, the good news is that your person by nature is very intuitive, so they're able to slip into these introspective states, and you know, even when they don't want to. And it says show the world the real you, full moon in Aquarius. Again, you know, they're also being triggered to step into authenticity. But for both of you here, you've got waning moon. What do you need to release? And let's get some more cards on that. I'm going to use this Tantric Dakini Oracle. mean and heavy, heart drop, and totally bananas. So you both need to let go of the idea that you're crazy. What's this card that's over there on its own? 5 of Cups in reverse. I think I shifted that there from earlier, but again, that's unresolved grief that came up for the Divine Feminine. You know, both of you working through previous wounds that have made you avoidant, the grief that was never resolved. Mean and heavy. You know, and we've got those big boots there. Look, crushing what they don't want. So, you know, this is about forked tongue. It's about recognizing how much you push one another away, and that you both need to release that avoidance and that coldness, you know, which creates this heart drop. You know, we see all of that love present there, but surrounded by this very cold landscape. But this totally bananas really tickles me. You know, this is about recognizing that, you know, you're not crazy. This is happening to you. And it is intense and it is super weird, but it doesn't mean you're mental. It doesn't mean you're crazy and woo-woo. I think neither one of you are very comfortable with spiritual labels. You know, these are really challenging energies for you both in terms of, you know, accepting what actually is. It's like neither one of you wants to acknowledge the real depths of this connection. Okay, so let's get some guidance cards and charms out for you in a minute, but I want to get some message cards first. So guidance from your higher selves. What's the guidance towards each of you from your higher selves? These are just blank message cards that I have written on. Everything you have told me has forced me to question my reality, and I need time to integrate that. So, you know, maybe seeing how spiritually receptive your person is, maybe it's them that's actually bringing all the woo-woo to the table. Everyone leaves me in the end, so now I leave first. Okay. Remember that avoidance? I have changed since we last saw one another, and I'm scared you won't love the new me. And what does your person want to say? I don't understand why you love me so much. It makes me think you must be crazy. Meditation, meditation, meditation. That is so interesting with this card coming out. Maybe that's what they're actually doing. I wish I knew how to love you the way you deserve to be loved. And the connecting energy here. My work life is my priority right now. So both of you very focused on career, you know, very focused on doing what you need to do in your material world right now to achieve balance and stability there. So, you know, the guidance here towards each of you, from each of you, you know, it's clear that this relationship has caused you to question what's really happening here. That was something that came up for your person, but you know, your higher self is parroting back almost word for word. You know, you both need to come to terms with being in the deep end and the heavy energies that presents. But this is a really powerful message. You both do this, you know, both in that avoidant energy. I'm going to leave first before I get rejected. And, you know, definitely there's some fear here about these changes that have happened, that deep down, you know, it could be your success. Perhaps it could be something even more physical than that, that, you know, your body shape's changed, your appearance has changed, or the way you perceive things has changed, and you're concerned that this new person's not going to enjoy the new you. I'm hearing for some of you, you've stopped drinking, or, you know, the things you had in common might have adjusted. But this person feels that insecurity too. You know, they don't understand what you see in them. You know, that totally bananas energy of thinking, I must be crazy, she must be crazy. What's actually going on here? But they are definitely finding these depths inside of them right now. They're not comfortable with it. They don't understand it, and they're struggling to integrate it. But they're definitely, you know, feeling all of the weird intensity that you are. And they wish they could show up in the way you wanted. They wish they could be that knight in shining armor, but they don't know how to do that yet. They don't have that courage because, like you, they're avoidant because they've been hurt. They have unresolved grief. My work life is my priority right now, and it feels both of you use your work and careers to avoid true intimacy. It's always a convenient excuse. You know, work must come first. So that's something for each of you, you know, to reflect on. So let's get some guidance cards here for you guys as well. I'm going to get some more of these Tantric Dakini cards. And we're going to get some more charms. I say more, we've not got them yet. We're going to get some charms. So guidance for the Divine Feminine, Hot Seat, the Rose Garden, and Scarlet Woman. And for the masculine, Three of Swords, the Emperor in reverse, and the Eight of Cups in reverse. The connecting energy there is the Chariot. I love that. Right, and from the Everyday Witch Oracle, I don't know who bought me these. Thank you so much if you sent me these. So very generous of you. We've got Air Magic. That came out in pile 2 as well. So pile 1, Change and Progress. And for the masculine, Prosperity and Abundance, Seasonal Harvest, and the connecting energy here. Connect with Gaia, Mother Earth energy. Let's get some charms for you guys. Okay, so we've got the stopwatch, which is set at 7 p.m. or just after. It's set at 4 minutes past 7. We've got, is Mercury in retrograde, which at the time of uploading it is not, but we'll talk about that in a minute. We've got these little tiny footprints and a heart-shaped pink footprints. We have the White Rabbit. I'm trying, and that's enough. This is a positive sign. And finally, oh, the vinyl stroke record player. So guidance. Divine Feminine, being in the hot seat, and I'm seeing how fiery this is as well. You know, being in the hot seat assumes being receptive to answering questions truthfully. You know, I do think that your person, well, I think both of you, but certainly your person with this very triggered energy here is going to be kind of very much triggered to take action and come towards you with the Chariot. I'm seeing how the Chariot is facing this way. The yellow connects the energy of the solar plexus, and I'm feeling with this Three of Swords that they're going to be facing their pain. Now, they may be coming at this from a distorted energy without necessarily enough introspection to have properly informed what they want to say. And this is why I think this is Mercury in retrograde coming up here, because when Mercury is in retrograde, what we tend to see is that communication is distorted, unclear, mistranslated, misunderstood. And so it does feel like your person's going to charge forward on a divine impulse. You know, it's meant to be that way. They're going to feel this kind of rushing energy to do that with this White Rabbit coming through, you know, really trying hard. And it is a positive sign. But I do feel that maybe, you know, it's going to trigger a lot of stuff, because we've got the hot seat, you being put on the spot, and we've also got Scarlet Woman. So a lot of this conversational questioning might very heavily connect to how you feel about them or perceive this connection, them seeking reassurance from you, you know, before they allow their own guard to be let down. And I feel like this will trigger you as much as it will them. But, you know, the guidance here with the Rose Garden is all about trusting and trying to be vulnerable, open and loving in your response to this. Scarlet Woman energy for me refers to that Queen of Wands energy that came up distorted earlier. Someone that's using their sexuality, you know, or their divine powers in ill-dignified ways, perhaps making them jealous, you know, tempting them and then taking it away. All those kind of energies are indicated here. And you're being asked to try and trust in this, the momentum of this energy that comes forward. It is a positive sign. You know, it's a divinely guided interaction. Now, these little tiny feet, I don't know what pink feet mean. You'll have to tell me what you think then means. It's often an indication of a pregnancy, or, you know, that it's a girl energy. But honestly, I didn't get that when that came through. So perhaps that's a sign that, you know, some of you needed, that makes sense to you. For sure, there's a reference here to some old school music that's going to help you connect the dots. I'm not sure what that is. You know, you'll have to be the deciding factor. Perhaps it's from one of the films that came up, but definitely there's some old-fashioned music, old school music that's kind of going to bring the understanding together. With Air Magic and Change and Progress, You know, I feel like writing down your thoughts and being prepared for what you can and cannot say. And when I say can and cannot, you know, it's what you feel comfortable saying and what you don't feel comfortable saying. Stepping into authenticity is a bold move. You know, Air Magic asks you to prepare, to tap into your intuition, to have a higher perspective, and to write your feelings down and think about what kind of authenticity you're able to show up with. Trust that this connection is transforming, even though it's emotionally overwhelming. We see this little cat here hanging on for dear life. You know, it is progress. It's moving in a much calmer direction. For your person, you know, being in that distorted energy, distorted masculine energy, and not having, you know, yet the confidence to really investigate their own inner worlds and understanding, we do see them much like the feminine here with that 9 and 10 of Pentacles, you know, stepping back into that work in order to distract themselves and still not having their own emotions in balance. So it definitely feels like the feminine has, you know, I guess more understanding to work with here. And this masculine is a little bit too comfortable, you know, leaning back into his career, as we saw again, you know, with that energy of putting the focus there. Both of you are guided to connect with nature. And interesting, this is what we see your masculine doing, both sides of the fence here. And maybe, you know, grounding yourself in nature, taking time out to allow that to happen will actually create an opportunity for you guys to even meet, because it feels like your person is also guided to spend outdoors, you know, some time outdoors in nature. They're certainly growing and focusing on career, but as a literal metaphor here, you know, these are very outdoorsy, relaxing activities that you're both being pulled to journey towards. So, you know, overall, this feels like a kind of brace yourself energy. You know, a lot is happening here. There's a lot of changes. Your person's definitely going to rush in with questions, which may be very triggering, may be very, very painful, in fact. But they're trying to make sense of what's happening here. And I think because you're both so very cautious, you know, you're both so anxious about being rejected, about being caught out, or, you know, not being the one to be rejected. You know, you both of you like to be the one to do the rejecting. So because you're both in this avoidant energy, someone has to kind of let go of the reins. And, you know, your person's holding onto the reins very firmly as they come towards you. And again, you know, the guidance for you is trying to lean back into your divine femininity so you can be truly receptive. But to be truly receptive, you know, you need to be in your emotional body. You need to open your heart and to try and bypass any judgment, you know, which has been a huge thing in terms of keeping you stuck. So I really hope that was helpful, part one. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm going to take this over to the extended reading. If this reading resonated for you, you can find a link to that in the description box below. We're going to get more cards out on thoughts and feelings. I want to go deeper with the message card and guidance from one another's higher selves, and of course more guidance from spirit. But if you'd like to join me over there, links down below. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me here. I appreciate you guys so much. And thank you for all of the likes. Thank you for watching my commercials. That's such a sweet energy exchange and really helps my channel to grow. Thank you for your beautiful comments and feedback, and for all the very generous donations and tarot decks and cards you guys send me. If you do send a PayPal donation, please include your address, your postal address, so I can send you a little handwritten thank you note. But thank you for tuning in today, sending you lots of love and lots of light, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the Good Tarot and this beautiful piece of Quartz Moon. So we are asking you and them, what's really going on here? What's the truth of this connection? When I do these readings, I look at the energies of both you and your person. So we're looking at how each of you is currently showing up, what energy you're presenting in this relationship or situation. We're looking at how each of you are thinking and feeling about one another and the situation between you. And we're looking at what's shifting for you, what's coming next that you need to be aware of, and what's the guidance around that. So, you know, these readings are intended to help you understand both parties' perspectives, so you can see where each of you are coming from and how that's affecting the bit in the middle, because we look at the connecting energies as well. Now, I do use 3 decks for this reading. This pile that you've chosen, the Good Tarot, will be for the Divine Feminine Energies. Now, you could be a man in Divine Feminine Energies, and that's fine. They're not gender specific. And for the masculine, we are using the Chakra Wisdom Tarot. Now, again, these aren't gender specific readings. It might be he in your situation, she. You know, you don't have... we can embody both of those energies, whatever the gender of our physical body. So just figure out which side works for you as we go, if you're not sure if you're divine feminine or masculine. Now, the connecting energies down the middle, I'm going to use the Zillich Tarot, and this was a gift from one of my viewers. Thank you so much if you purchased this for me. I appreciate it so much. It's a beautiful little deck. Now, when I do these readings, I do refer to the divine feminine as she, divine masculine as he, just so we can differentiate between which energy I'm talking about. And also, if I'm honest, I struggle to remember the they, them pronouns in this reading, but I will try. But as I said, they're not gender specific, so just adjust the pronouns as you see fit. We're going to get a ton of oracle cards and charms out as well. There will be an extended reading today if this resonates for you. So I'm going to pull the cards for the feminine first. Just hold your person in mind. Ask for a sign as well if you would like to. That can be anything at all. It could be a name, a phrase, a symbol, an animal, numbers, anything at all that feels good to you. An object. Okay, we're going to keep that one because it's turned over. That's the 10 of Wands. So how's the feminine currently showing up? What's her present energy? We've got 10 of Wands here. The Sun in reverse. And the Magician in reverse. And how's this divine feminine thinking and feeling about the connection? We've got the Moon. I love this deck. This was a gift from one of my students, Jess. Thank you, Jess. You're such a sweet treat. 6 of Pentacles. And the 10 of Pentacles for thoughts and feelings. And what's shifting for this divine feminine? 5 of Cups in reverse. Empress in reverse. And the King of Wands. Okay, so let's get some cards out for the masculine. Oh, look at the sun come out for you, pile 3. It's such a beautiful spring day here today. Right, so for the masculine, how's he currently presenting? We've got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Just shift these over a touch. We've got the Emperor, that's divine masculine energy. And we've got the 2 of Swords. And what's this divine masculine thinking and feeling about the counterpart? 3 of Swords in reverse. Strength in reverse. And 4 of Wands in reverse. And what's shifting for this masculine? The Tower in reverse. The Death card. And the King of Cups in reverse. Let's get some connecting energies out. As I said, we'll get oracle cards and message cards and charms as we go. Okay, connecting energies here, please. How they're presently showing up. The Fool in reverse. Connecting energies for thoughts and feelings. The 3 of Cups. And connecting energies for what's shifting. The 3 of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay, let me just check these are all in shot. I believe you can see them all. Yeah. It's really reflecting off my camera. Okay. So this divine feminine is feeling under a lot of pressure, a lot of obligation. There's a strong urge here to let go, and yet the belief that this is a spiritual connection that needs her entire focus and kind of unconditional work and focus is overwhelming. So this is a divine feminine that's feeling very disempowered. She's showing up because she feels like she's meant to, rather than because it feels like what she currently wants to do. So I just want to make that okay with you, because even if this was a spiritual connection, your primary role is to do whatever makes you feel good. If it feels good, you know you're doing it right. And so going against the tide because you think there's a specific instruction or path you must follow, you know, is misguided. You've got to learn to do what feels good. And with the Sun in reverse and the Magician in reverse, you know, this doesn't feel good. Taking all of the responsibility, you know, it feels like here we see this woman setting fire to these messages, like these messages going up in flames, that there could be an urge here to purge, you know, to close doors, to leave things behind and to start powerfully and passionately moving forward. And, you know, it feels like despite that, this divine feminine is like, but I can't do that. That's giving up. I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be doing this, or I'm supposed to be doing that. And this has sucked a lot of the joy out of the situation, because it's all starting to feel very laborious and, you know, like an obligation rather than a true desire. And when the Magician is in reverse, you know, this is a powerful sign that, you know, you're feeling disempowered. You're feeling like you don't have the answers or the tools to move forward at this stage. And so it may feel like it's stagnating. This is definitely a very frustrated divine feminine, you know, one who feels like maybe she's flogging a dead horse, you know, and it's kind of not, I don't know if you have that term in America. I know there's a lot of people that aren't English watching. I think that might be a really English term, but you'll have to Google that. But yeah, it feels like, I guess, pointless, you know, you're kind of going against the grain kind of energy. And, you know, the masculine here is also recognizing that now is not the time. You know, they're trying to stay in control. They're trying to get to the bottom of this situation, but there's a lot of confusion here. And this masculine is coming forward in a very indecisive energy. And, you know, this Emperor, which is divine masculine energy, I want to bring this up and show you, because what we see here is the divine feminine in the background, and they have their back to her. You know, they're on their own throne. They're staying in control. They're looking after their own needs. They're looking after their own domain. And so it feels like this divine feminine is doing all the work. And, you know, in truth, we've got all the energies of the Magician depicted here in this Wheel of Fortune, all of the tools that the Magician presents. You know, he's not picking them up either. You know, this is two people that don't know how to make a new beginning happen. And it may feel like very stagnant energy, like no one's really making a move. You know, no one's, you know, you might both be kind of maintaining polite conversation, but there's no spark there right now. And your person's very indecisive. You know, this masculine energy is very confused. You know, this is a battle between heart and mind, but I do feel that they are disconnected from their heart space. This is someone who very much avoids their emotions and prefers to kind of focus on what's going on in the mind and to use logic and kind of rational critical thinking to figure out what to do next. And this is where this confusion comes in, because whereas the divine feminine is noticing this resistance towards the step she's taking, the masculine notices this niggle as well when he tries to avoid his feelings. Both of them have this sense that they're going against the grain. Now, the energies in this row, I think, reveal how powerful and deep the love this divine feminine holds, but also how terrified and anxious she is about the future. You know, there's a deep fear here, a very deep-seated fear of letting go. And this is why this detachment is so hard. And so this divine feminine, you know, may feel under the weather, a bit bogged down with it, but in truth, she chooses to keep going because this fear tugs at her. But if I don't keep going, if I give up, what if? What if I'm missing a great opportunity? What if union was just around the corner? You know, that fear of loss in pulling back and honouring how she really feels, and the true impulse is to detach. It's the fear and uncertainty beneath this that keeps her stuck in that same pattern. And so she keeps giving and hoping she's going to get something back, not realising that this is out of balance, you know. And that in truth, with this 10 of Pentacles, you know, look at this for thoughts and feelings. The 10 of Pentacles is a union energy. It's associated, you know, with a coming together of a family. But here we just see the lady and her wolf and all of her treasure. And I think, you know, it just feels like no matter what you've accomplished, something is missing. You know, you have so much and you're trying very much to count your blessings and appreciate what you have, but you just can't shake this feeling that something profound is missing from your life. And the message here is it's you. you're what you're missing. You're missing that connection to your own soul's truth, to your own divinity, to that infinite fountain of love and abundance that exists within you, that you just need to turn towards. You know, but definitely feeling like so afraid of turning your back on this masculine, even though, you know, this situation no longer feels fulfilling because of what if. And what's really interesting is the Four of Wands is in reverse here, you know, for the masculine as well. We've got Three of Swords in reverse, Strength in reverse, Four of Wands in reverse. You know, this is a masculine that's also afraid of letting go. And the Three of Swords in reverse is someone that doesn't want to be triggered by that pain. Even though they're not ready to move forward with this, they're also not ready to let it go, you know, because they don't know what they want from you, but they know that there's something deep that keeps them connected, keeps them wanting, even though their mind can't work it out. You know, if they were brave enough to open their heart, they might have some greater awareness as to why they feel so attached to this connection, but they're not allowing themselves to acknowledge this. You know, they're not brave enough to confront their emotions. And, you know, in this Strength card here, we see those two pools of water before them. And of course, this energy is blocked. So they neither want you and they don't want to lose you either. You know, this is that horrible limbo state that they are in. And no wonder this divine feminine feels so confused. And so they just keep getting together in friendly ways. They just keep the momentum going, keep touching base. The Three of Cups is a kind of union energy, but it's a very casual, social, flirty, fun union energy. It's called abundance in this deck. The fact that the Three of Pentacles here may mean you also work together for some of you, but you know, there's interactions here, there's engagement, but it feels like nothing ever quite shifts. And this divine feminine's always left wanting more. And this, you know, divine masculine doesn't know what on earth he wants. In terms of what's shifting, when the Five of Cups comes up in reverse, we see this divine feminine here now beginning to take more control of her life, shifting out of chaser energy, facing those deep, deep wounds connected to betrayal and grief and loss. And, you know, recognizing her power to step out of this distorted feminine chaser energy. The King of Wands is a really powerful energy to come up for what's shifting, because it talks about powerful growth, leadership, and the energy of massive drive and a really passionate drive forward. You know, turning her attention towards what matters and what needs to be resolved, and facing that fear. You know, the fear of loss is the primary objective here. And we see the energy kind of rising up to make itself known and being met with this very powerful energy of, I am ready for this. I'm ready to move forward and to transcend all of this painful energy that's been keeping me stuck. And the masculine is very much avoiding that transformation with the Tower in reverse. You know, again, not wanting to be triggered, not wanting to force this issue. But I feel like this transformation will be divinely guided. You know, this is a third eye card. And what's really interesting is that out of both of these cards, these are both Scorpio energy. You've got Aries energy here. Lots of Pisces, watery energy here as well. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy, lots of fire, earth and water. But here we have all of this Scorpio energy and the Aries energy again, Leo energy, more fire energy. But the Death is Scorpio and King of Cups in reverse is Scorpio. And again, you know, both of these cards are about the energy of resurrection. You know, the rising of the phoenix from the ashes, of leaving behind the old and stepping into the new. So it definitely feels like, even though your person's avoiding these changes, that these changes will be spiritually, divinely thrust upon them. But this is, if anything, going to trigger a much deeper layer of secrecy and mystery. You know, they may feel a powerful urge to discuss it and to figure it out, but there's something that's so vulnerable and difficult about bringing that information forward. And we've got the Three of Pentacles coming up here as well. This is collaborative energy. And what we see here is one person showing up on a ladder. You know, all these ladders here, symbols of ascension with a gift. And so it does feel like whatever these interactions between you that are coming up are, you know, you're both being moved towards more empowered knowing and transformation. I'm hearing it's going to be fairly uncomfortable. You know, it definitely feels uncomfortable for both of you, but a transition and transformation that was very much necessary. And certainly for this divine feminine to finally be able to release herself from this grasping chaser energy. You know, the masculine's still over there doing God knows what, running and chasing, doesn't know what they want. But for sure, they've got this transformation coming. It may temporarily mean that they shut down, you know, from the perspective of communication. Step out of your comfort zone. You're very close to achieving your goal. Emotions running high. Don't let your past hold you back. And the connecting energy, the answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini, that's a very twin flamey energy. So again, you know, step out of your comfort zone. Whatever sign your North Node is in, you need to pay attention to the powers of that sign that you're intended to be embodying. If you don't know what your North Node is, it's where you're meant to be going in this lifetime. It's an astrological thing. So look at your natal chart and find out what sign your North Node is in, and then Google, you know, what you need to do to embody those energies, because you're being asked to step out of the energy you're in and embrace something which may feel scary or uncomfortable, and your North Node sign will reveal what that is. You are very close. You know, things are coming to fruition. Don't give up now, even though you feel tired. You know, the thing is, detaching from this person and focusing on yourself isn't giving up, it's taking the next step. Yeah, stepping towards yourself is a step in the right direction. You know, this person's emotions are running very high. And look at this, we've got North Node and South Node here. Don't let your past hold you back. The South Node is the energy we're bringing into this lifetime from our previous lives. And so, you know, this person is being triggered as well by their past, you know, because of how this situation has panned out. Both of you are looking at old wounds and reacting to them. But what's important about this is you have the awareness to step up and look forward. Your person's still stuck dwelling in this past energy and, you know, struggling with their emotions. But look at this very twinny energy here. And the blue energy here of truth. The answers you need are coming. Sit tight. Now, Derek's over here. Hi, Derek. Just come in through my open window. Okay, I want to get some message cards from your person as well, actually. What does your person... Actually, we're going to get messages from both of you, from your higher selves. What does your higher self want to communicate about these energies between you? So let's start with the Divine Feminine. Messages from the Divine Feminine's higher self. It feels easier to keep you as a fantasy. I'm working hard to be the person that you deserve. I turn everything into an argument because I don't know how to communicate. And for the masculine, my pride stands in the way of reconciliation. I can't wait to hold you again. What contradiction. If you knew the real me, you might not feel the same. And the message from your soul, I'm so sorry that I betrayed you. Can you forgive me? This is really interesting. I want to come first to this while it's fresh and it's kind of downloading, because when I got this message, I'm sorry, but I betrayed you. Can you forgive me? This is a message that's spoken directly to both of your higher selves. And, you know, when we get frustrated and impatient with the people that are seemingly letting us down, we have to question what they're reflecting in us, what they're reflecting back at us that's already in us. How are we letting ourselves down? Now, to give you an indication of what letting yourself down can feel like, this could be along the lines of, I want to care better for my body, I'm going to exercise and eat well, and then not being able to live up to that promise you've made for yourself. It could be, I'm going to invest in giving myself time and space to journal so I can get my thoughts on paper and process them easier, and then not giving yourself that time and space to do that, even though you know it's good for you. We betray ourselves all the time, and how we love ourselves is how we teach other people to love us. So when we're not giving ourselves the love we need, we will notice how all the other people are letting us down as well, because we're letting ourselves down. When we give ourselves all the love we need, suddenly our expectations of others filling those gaps we're leaving in ourselves no longer stands. It no longer holds sway. And so this is a very powerful message for both of you. You know, you've got, when you feel frustrated at how this person is or isn't turning up for you, you've got to look at how you're betraying yourself. You know, you've got to turn that love inwards. It feels easier to keep you as a fantasy. And so again, that reveals that divine feminine's belief that this just is impossible. You know, that it's not safe to imagine it can be okay. And this is where the confused intuition comes in with the moon, because our heart tells her it's going to be okay and to trust, but her mind tells her that that's risky and dangerous and that it could never come to pass because she doesn't believe she's worthy of love. You know, and this is why this is interesting. I'm working hard to be the person that you deserve. But the goal here is to work hard to be the person that you deserve to be for yourself. You know, for sure, this journey drives us towards self-love. The original motivating factor is the desire to be in union. We hear, okay, to be in union, I have to be healed and happy and healthy, and that balances the energies, and then union can happen. And so this person becomes our raison d'etre. You know, the reason for being, the reason for doing it, and that's okay. But at some point you've got to recognize that actually, you know, your real power is in doing this for yourself. They were just the one that inspired you towards that objective. I turn everything into an argument because I don't know how to communicate. You know, that is a very sobering message from your higher self. You know, this is about reflecting on the communication style that you were presented with in childhood, that you are now, you know, repeating in your modern day, present day relationships. You know, this is about recognizing how you're not open to receiving about the truth of who you are. And you may argue, well, it wasn't delivered very kindly, or, you know, if they'd have said it in a different way, maybe I could have received it, but they said it really meanly. And again, you're not taking responsibility for yourself and your feelings, because how we react, you know, to information is up to us. You know, you don't have to turn it into an argument just because someone else has approached it like an argument. You always get to choose whether or not you want to match the energy that's being presented, or, you know, transmute it and ascend above it and to have a higher perspective and to step into something more real. That choice is yours. You don't need someone else to open the door in that way for you. You know, you can see when things aren't right and open a different door, but you have this tendency to get sucked back in to old toxic behavioral patterns. My pride stands in the way of reconciliation. And I think your person is so very proud, so very headstrong. You know, if there's lots of Scorpio energy here, they don't take well to being slighted or rejected. And so if at some point you've kind of said, you know, I'm done with you, that's it now, this is enough. You know, for them, that's a real kind of, whoa, you don't get to say that to me and take it back. You know, there's a real grudge there that's now become an obstacle. And yet, look at this contradicting energy. I can't wait to hold you again. You know, deep down, they know that they can't really stay in this resistance for too long. But they're also afraid if you knew the real me, you might not feel the same. And so this is that dark, mysterious part of themselves, panicked that when they reveal their truth to you, that perhaps, you know, you will no longer care about them in the way you do now. Oh, deep, really deep, pile 3. Okay, what else do we need to know? Mean and heavy. And the Rose Garden, these came up for pile 2. Earthbound and eternal life. Okay, let's get one of these everyday witch cards for each of you. We've got hibernation and regeneration. Wow, this came up for pile 2 as well. Meditation for peace and serenity. So you need this time out, divine feminine. Green crystals are indicated here. Obviously that connects to the heart chakra, so perhaps crystal healing in relation to the heart chakra will be very regenerative for you. I'm noticed how she's kind of, you know, sleeping in this kind of hole in a tree or in a cave. She's got this beautiful blue blanket out over her with stars. Stars are a symbol of, you know, wish fulfillment and hope and optimism. And of course, blue is the color of truth. So for me, this is about, you know, using your sleep time, setting intentions before you sleep, paying attention to your dreams, and certainly, you know, to try and instill more optimism in your heart. The mean and heavy parts of yourself, you know, you need to address these shadow aspects and recognize that's where your power is. This is how you can revert back to a state of high bright vibrational love with this rose garden energy, you know, by facing your divinity again. When you face your shadow aspects, you illuminate those shadows and create more light. Even just acknowledging the shadow aspects of self help you to step into a higher vibration, even when you can't always resolve them straight away. Your awareness of them is the beginnings of beautiful and powerful change. For your person, you know, this is so interesting because we've got earthbound and eternal life, and it feels like your person is having some kind of profound spiritual shift, which is making them aware of them being a soul, having a human experience. And I feel this is very triggering for your person. We've got this meditation thing here, and again, this was a message that came through for pile 2 as well. And bearing in mind that 2021 is a number 5 year, the year of high learning and transformation, it's no surprise that we're seeing a lot of divine masculines having their awareness triggered in very profound ways. You know, they're being encouraged to wake up. And I do think your masculine is on the precipice. You know, they're noticing and finding themselves more intrigued by spiritual matters. They may not be turning the spiritual focus towards themselves, but for sure this is someone that is asking more questions than ever before. You know, is really feeling into what all of these different energies mean. Perhaps has a sudden interest in things of a holistic or paranormal nature. And again, you know, they're still holding it at an arm's length. You know, they're still not associating it with their own divinity or own spiritual natures. But there's an opening here. There's an awareness opening up, a philosophical questioning. Who am I? Where do I come from? You know, and I think as well, you know, even though they're very pragmatic, this is kind of, I mean, even science at the moment has evidenced so many previously thought to be sci-fi fictional ideas, like the alternate dimensions and realities. That's something that NASA recently validated and said, you know, mathematically it is impossible that there aren't alternate dimensions. We can categorically 100% say that there are. And so your person's starting to open their mind to the worlds beyond them, and this is a very exciting step. And actually a pattern I'm seeing in a lot of my readings at the moment, you know, that definitely masculines are being triggered to observe these alternate states of being and to recognize there's more than meets the eye to the world. And I feel your person is really turning a corner with exactly those energies. You may find that they're more inquisitive and questioning, but let's get some cards. I just want to understand, obviously we looked at what's next, but what's not entirely clear for me here. It seems like you guys are sort of in communication. I want a more literal what's next, please, for what's shifting. Queen of Wands in reverse, that's interesting. Page of Cups. So I think this is more of the same. You know, the Queen of Wands in reverse, obviously we had the King of Wands for where things were meant to be the King of Pentacles for where things were meant to be shifting, which is really getting power over your 3D domain and stepping back into kind of an energy of stability. But when the Queen of Wands comes up in reverse with the Page of Water in reverse, you know, this is two people that are really trying to stay in control. The masculine coming in a little bit more innocently here, but the divine feminine responding with this need to stay in control. So, you know, I felt really guided to pull those last two cards. You need to be in the energy of authenticity. You need to be real. And for you, divine feminine, this may mean walking away rather than just showing up in the same flirty way that you normally would. I think for me, this is about you being committed to yourself. So let's get some final guidance cards, and we're going to get some charms as well. Right, we've got the Hierophant, the Two of Swords in reverse, the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, and for the Divine Masculine, we've got the Six of Pentacles in reverse, the King of Wands in reverse, and the Page of Swords. And we're going to go with more of these cards, the Everyday Witch Oracle. We've got Sun and Stars, Joy and Delight, and air magic. All of these cards have come out in the previous piles. I love when there's these collective syncs. And this one, affirmation and positive change. Tears of joy and sadness. And imagine and envision. Beautiful energies. Let's get some charms. Let's give them a good shake. Oh, that one flew out. What's that one? That's the little paper fortune teller. Okay. Just a little bit of paper flew out here as well. That's a blank piece of paper. Is Mercury in a retrograde? This came out for pile 2 also. The 2 of Swords, which has come out for both of you in the cards. The Crown. The tape measure. The aeroplane. And the moth. Okay. So Divine Feminine, remember what I said about this being a number 5 year, the year of the Hierophant, and this has come up for you here, and look at how empowering this card is. You know, the year of higher learning, of bringing everything back. You know, this for me is about remembering your innate abilities, you know, coming back to your own wisdom and truth. There is no need to make decisions now or invest in anything other than your own true heart. You know, you don't need to put your energy where it doesn't feel good. That was a strong message that came out for the beginning, and I feel it's being really affirmed here. You're always learning whatever you decide. You're always progressing. Just trust, you know, that as long as it feels good, it's okay. There doesn't need to be any deliberate thought process around it. You can just allow yourself to flow with whatever feels good and natural to you. You know, the sun and the stars, about bringing what you see in the 3D into balance with your real intuition, which you can only see when you release fear. You know, you're really guided, you know, to step into joy, to recognize that you can have it all, that there's always more to come. This message came up in all 3 piles today. Air magic. This is magic of the mind, but magic for me brought into reality through the mode of communication. We have, I think this is a goshawk here. Those kinds of birds of prey are always a symbol of divine messengers, you know, that they reflect the energy of a higher perspective. We see them bringing the light here, the incense, which honors the air magic, and the magical pen feather that's all aglow. For me, this is about channeling in the written word, you know, whether that's through journaling, letter writing, or sharing your ideas in the written word in whatever format feels right to you. But for sure, there's something here that needs to be communicated, and it needs to be divinely inspired. You know, when you give yourself time to get above the fear and to tap into your own intuition, you empower yourself to receive all the wise messages that you need to help you move forward. That wisdom is in you. This year is about remembering who you are, and you're on the right path. Your person isn't able to reciprocate in the way you want them to yet. All the energies that reference them coming forward are pages. They're going to message, they're going to keep in touch, but there is nothing tangible or real on offer. But you're still moving in the right direction. And, you know, this tears of joy and sadness, this is them facing their emotional self, you know, and envisioning different ways of being. You have to trust in the progressive energies that are being presented here. It may feel stagnant, but when you start focusing on you, and look at how independent all of these energies are for both of you. You know, there's no union here. This is about union with self at this stage. You know, both of you are guided to come back to yourselves. And the more you focus on you, the more your person is triggered to do the same. Now, is Mercury in retrograde? It isn't at the time of uploading, but this could be symbolic of there being communication issues here. There's also travel that is suggested. So it seems like this might be your person. We see them leaving here in a boat and here on a broom. You know, there could be a literal moving away or physical gap. And you're being asked to recognize that that's temporary. Everything is transient, that they are moving. They may be moving towards another person here. We see a little mermaid in the sea, but there's also a boat in the distance, you know, and they have their eye on the horizon, perhaps career things linked there. Now, with the fortune teller card, that reminds you to release anxiety, because we never truly know how things are going to work out. We can't know. Nothing is ever set in stone. We just have to trust and keep moving forward in whichever way feels right to us. That's always the clearest sign that we're on the right track, when we're trusting our own intuition and our feel-good factor. You know, but certainly with the tape measure coming up for you here, this is all about patience. And again, with Mercury in retrograde coming up and the blank piece of paper, I would suggest that, you know, until you're ready to speak authentically and perhaps in the written word in a more profound way, and even then, you know, you don't necessarily have to share that with them, that now is probably not a good time to communicate. You know, there's definitely something in the water here that's kind of making things unclear or confused. Both of you came in with that Two of Swords energy, which means there is still not a full merging of the mind and the heart, to, you know, in which clarity can be achieved. But for sure, you know, it feels like both of you are being blown open to spirit, and with a moth coming up here, this is powerfully transformative energy. You know, this is both of you moving towards a much higher level of intimacy with self, which empowers you to be more intimate with one another. I feel like I need to get another couple of these for you guys as well. Holocaust, that's Tower energy. Pearls before swine, and elixir and fruit essence. Clarify there, blow your mind. So again, Tower energy with that explosion. There is going to be some powerful changes here. You know, we did have, you're very close to achieving your goal. You know, it feels like that Tower moment is inevitable. You know, it's definitely inevitable, but you can trust. You can, you know, I'm drawn to this kind of, this treasure here and this abundance and the energy of the pig, and I'm thinking of that pigs might fly energy. You know, believe in the impossible. You've got to allow yourself to step in to the bountiful harvest that your hard work is going to yield. But this means navigating through this turbulence first. And, you know, Holocaust is quite a dark energy to come through. Even though this is the same number as the Tower, you know, that breaking things down, it does give a nod towards some very deliberate darkness in the background that may create that. So again, you know, this might blow your mind, but you need to trust that it's all going to work out for the greater good, pile 3. You know, turbulence ahead, but ultimately, you know, this work you're doing as individuals is leading you both towards a much brighter and, what's the word, a more smooth union path. I feel like I need to get some more connecting energies as well. Wow, 4 of Wands completion and 9 of Cups in reverse bliss. So yeah, you can trust in union energies. That's such a powerful message to come through for you there. But you know, when the 9 of Cups in reverse, bearing in mind 9 is connected to the Hermit energy, that one fell off. What's that? Temperance. That's also such a twin flamey, perfect, harmonious, you know, perfect alchemy kind of energy. But 9 is the power of solitude. And when neither one of you is truly, comfortable in your own emotional depths, this is when you get all of the imbalances which are presenting, that inhibit you from, you know, that union place. So I really hope this was helpful, pile 3. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you guys being here so much. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for your beautiful comments. I love hearing your feedback and how this did or didn't resonate for you. And thank you so much to those of you that subscribe. That means I'll see you next time. And thank you so much for the very generous souls that watch a commercial, and that really helps to keep my channel ticking over. YouTube will always recommend me more when you watch one of my commercials, so I appreciate the time you guys take to do that. And thank you so much for the very generous donations you send. You know, you guys have sent so many lovely sweet treats for me as well in the post with the decks, and I appreciate that so much. If you do send a donation or a deck, please include your return postal address so I can send you a little note of thanks. I love doing that. It's my favourite thing at the moment. But I will see you next time. Lots of love, pile 3. Bye.